Restart it. Do it twice.
Hello.
Hi.
We're
conferring.
This is Tyrell VA
and Codeman
broadcasting live from the vault in our stars.
Yes.
And this is a Mega Man review.
Mega Man 9.
Mega Man 9 review.
Mm-hmm.
So we are playing. Where is it?
Oh, we're losing our thing. Here it is.
Oh,
I retrieved it.
It is 9. Here.
Yes.
The collectors, I think it has 7, 8, and 9.
And 10.
And 10. 10 we'll be getting into later. So.
That's funny. They show that right off the bat. Please forgive me. And then we just saw in the last episode at the end.
Him doing the same thing?
Yep.
So, for Mega Man 9 reviewing, I have a few categories that I have written down. Well, first off, this is Codeman's first time doing a review with me, so let me go over our scoring thing for future reference, and let me know if you think anything should change on this. I have 0 to 10. 10 being a awesome classic game. We're talking like Breath of the Wilds. Maybe I'm sure there's a Mario game that's in there that's like, hello.
I would say Super Mario 3 is classic.
Yeah.
Mario.
Exactly.
Also
something
Mario
that you just
Galaxy.
have to have on your shelf, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Going down from there, 9, a necessity, 8, exceeds expectation, 7, does the job, 6, time saver, 5, is a confusion one, like, I don't know where I'm left with this one, 4 is painful, 3 is a letdown, 2 is dusty, you don't even, like, pick it up on the shelf, number 1 is a game that if you have to play it, you'll do, it's more like out of boredom, and 0 is just plain out punishment. Yeah.
I have a weird question, not to question him on his review process.
No,
but
please.
Would letdown be before painful?
You know, I've thought about that.
That's the only thing
and sometimes pain can be enjoyable, and so I think that's why it's up a little higher.
Oh, always a positive spin with this one. Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. I'm fine with that.
Because, you know, sometimes a game is, like, super frustrating and you're like, ugh, but at the same time, it's, it feeds something in that part of your brain.
Yeah.
Like, I think Tetris does that for me.
I don't remember this at all. Did we ever see this?
I don't know if it's something you can skip or not, so maybe not. No, we must have watched this part.
I don't remember the old-timey phone with the cash register. I mean, we don't have phones like that anymore. Nobody has phones like that.
Register.
I thought it was a cash register, but it's actually, I believe, a dial phone, which no one has that at all.
So, what I was gonna do was go through, a couple of categories here. Marketing. How do you think they did for marketing? We can also, like, talk about the topic.
Yeah.
They must have done some marketing because you mentioned in the, like, history or, like, wiki thing of it that they mentioned it was going to be a retro gaming thing, and I'm sure... And they also said that 10 was going to be a retro gaming thing, so there must have been some sort of, like, hype or expectations for these new Mega Man 9s and 10s coming out.
Well, I think what it has to do with is that by having the low-bit graphics, the 32-bit graphics, they were easily able to make it available for digital download only, which was how 9 and 10 first came out. So there wasn't a cartridge that you put into your machine anymore. This is one of the first times they did that, and they did it for, I believe it was for, like, Game Boy DS. I could be totally wrong on that. But they did that, and then eventually later they retroactively released it on, well, we know for disc for sure because we have the Legacy Collection 2 here that we're playing on. We've now completed it. We've played every single level. We also realized we're on our 16th episode. And I feel like right now I've just given a lot of intro again and I've derailed the conversation. We were talking about marketing. Marketing.
Well, So there was some marketing, at least. At least there was like a bit, and which is good. Some games like have zero marketing. I'm glad that there was like some hype for this, which there would be. It's Mega Man, so that's typical. Graphics is the next category, and as we talked about in marketing, they were excited about going back to these old school graphics.
Well, I feel like the reason that they did that was a practical one, because it's easy to download a 32-bit graphic. I mean, I'm not exactly sure on that, but I'm assuming that it would be less time-consuming.
Yeah.
If you know truth and you're reading this or watching this, you could let us know in the comments, but we might never know.
Yeah, and that's actually, I don't know. I was a little annoyed by it at first. Still kind of am now, just because I feel like I lost something that could have been, which is not how you should look at life, I guess. But
you have an expectation.
Yeah, and I've already had this before, so I've already seen this. I know what this looks like. I was ready for the next step.
Well, aside from Mega Man 1 and 2, every subsequent game thereafter, until 8, they got better graphically. Like, just things got better, not only graphically, but also in, like, gameplay, what you could do, because Mega Man eventually evolved into the slide, which you could do, but now in 9,
taken away.
You could not slide. We were very
Charging
by that.
is taken away.
Yeah, your player ability, I don't know if that's a thing, but whatever that is.
And yet you could charge one of your weapons, so...
Yeah, but that was part of, like, the specialness of it, I guess.
Yeah.
They were just being stingy.
So how about next one is the art. Now, the difference between these two, graphics and art, is graphics is like they chose to use this 8-bit or 32-bit whatever stuff, but the art style of the character and the background and the bad guys and what they did with the graphics they chose to use. Because I'm not too big of a fan on the graphics they chose to use, but I thought...
You really tell me how you really feel about the graphics that they chose to use.
But using the graphics that they chose, the art's fun. I don't know. When you explained the graphics the way you explained, and like how much easier it is to download that, I was like, yeah, that's true, that's cool, that is nice for downloadability.
And then they market it, which is what I should have said, they market it with a retro, we're going back to how it used to be kind of thing, which, I mean, looking back, that's not always what you want to do.
Well, I think they could have gone retro, but they didn't go more. This is totally a game that I could have found back on the first and second. If you're gonna go to and use these graphics, that's fine, but why isn't there a background movement? Like, there should be a better background than a black void.
Just on this level, but there might be some movement in other levels.
Well, the Galaxy one, I know there were stars in the background, and that was fun, but that was the first level that we played, so everything was downhill for that.
This isn't the one where you could torch the trees, right?
No.
That was like 7 or 8, I think.
That was,
I've told Tyrell VA this, and telling you right now, I think once we complete all of them, we should go back and do Mega Man 1, like in a special episode. Just try to beat it in one fell swoop. It might be like a 2-hour special.
Oh.
I don't know, that's just an idea I had. Anyway, art.
Next one, storyline. It's a Mega Man game. The storyline is very weak in my eyes, I guess. This one at least was like a slight bit of more of a bump of a storyline. Dr. Wily was sent to jail for making these robots, evil robots, these good robots of society being helpful and everything, that were trashed aside. Dr. Light went and changed them and sent them out and then was arrested for this. However, it was actually Dr. Wily who framed him for this, and that's the storyline. Which, I mean, that's usually it's just Dr. Wily doing this, and then that's it. So now it's just him saying Dr. Light did it, and still, I mean, so it's just a slight bump in the storyline. Kind of just a weak one throughout the series. We still never get to do anything with Roll or Proto Man or...
No, not in this one. There was no Proto Man competition or secret lair. I feel like this one, and maybe we didn't explore a lot. We didn't use our cheat sheet as much as we could have. But I feel like this one had like no surprises. There were no areas in the game where you could find a secret room or like blow up the wall. I don't recall any of that in this one.
And the levels were not replayable.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Characters.
Okay.
I guess I already kind of said we don't get to use any of the other characters. They do pop in. We do get to see them. They were more part of the storyline. Kind of. I mean, they just told the storyline. They didn't necessarily need to be there for the storyline. And they're nowhere in any of the episodes, I guess. So, I think kind of weak on characters.
I'm not commenting yet because we're gonna give our scores for these, and then I'm gonna talk about my side of that. I mean, he's not giving his scores yet either, but he's giving his.
I'm not gonna get. Well, I can make up. Yeah, I guess scores.
Are you only gonna do it on the final?
I was just gonna make one big score.
Oh, I see. I was gonna do one for each.
Do you want to run through what your score would be? Marketing?
On the fly, just doing it.
Just to kind of keep it to a...
Can I see the numbers?
25-30 minute video.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would say marketing does the job. 7. Because here we are playing this again. You know, we could have forgotten about this game. It came out once. They marketed it in a way to get people to download it. It was a new thing. I thought that was smart, and here it is in this collection now where we're able to replay all these games. I don't know, I think it did the job. I don't want to say it's a time saver, because for me this has been a fascinating experience of being able to like do this broadcasting thing, and also I just think it's been pleasant. Did the job. 7.
I would actually say it exceeds the expectations.
Okay.
Just because it really like got people excited for a Mega Man game. I don't know if it met those exceeded expectations, but I think it got that hype, like I had said before.
Yes.
Graphics.
Can I see the...
Oh,
sorry, I just like to look at the words. Graphics, I would say, for me, exceeds expectations. And I'm a little bit less lenient, I guess, per se, on the throwback aspect. I don't mind that as much. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I still appreciate what they did, and the fact that they took away the slide, I guess, I take that as a more of a positive thing, because it forces you to, like, play it through, you know, just do the whole game, simply. And I'm always about simplicity, especially in gaming. And yeah, I would say for graphics, exceeds expectations. For me. I like the retro. A 3! Oh, I
said
knew
it was a letdown.
Okay.
Art.
Alright, I'd say... I'm gonna say... Time Saver, 6. And the reason is, if they're not doing a highfalutin fancy game, you know, like they did with Mega Man 8, where they were like expanding on already preconceived, you know, updates in gaming graphics. If they did that, I think it'd go to be like a necessity for me because it would fit in the timeline. But the art itself, the bosses, I felt were very distinct characters in this one, and like Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2, they were kind of homogenous, like they all sort of looked alike. I felt, that's my memory of it. Remember, I haven't seen it in a couple months. So I'd say time saver. Like, they did this to get the game up quickly, probably to be able to download digitally fast. So I'd say time saver on part.
I would actually, that's why I was going to give it a 2 for that reason.
Whoa.
But because of the bosses, I actually bumped it up to a 3. And went with Letdown again.
Okay.
So, storyline?
I sort of disagree with what you said about it. I would say, let me see, exceeds expectations, 8. And the reason is the final scene with Wily when he's like, I remember when it happened this time, there was all the bowing before, and we just saw a few minutes ago, that Wily started out the game bowing, so it's kind of throwback to that if you remembered it, you probably didn't. And then also the other times, there's been at least 9, I think they showed 12 or 8, no they showed 8. Yeah, I don't know, it was really cool, that like forgave everything for me on storyline, and I do think that out of the other ones, it's basically been Wily comes back, he's in town, he's trying to take over the world. This time there was like for me, I felt like there was a more rapid storyline of Wily coming back, but also framing Dr. Light, and then the story behind all the robots having these old jobs and being reprogrammed. I don't remember. The others might have had that too, but I just don't know. I was pleased.
I gave it a 6.5 in between Time Saver and Does the Job. Because it's a Mega Man game, what do you expect? It was the storyline that I expected to be, plus a little bit added, I guess, but it certainly did the job. Characters.
I feel like in other Mega Man games, he's had a lot more interaction with friends, where friends like come and fight with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like those, I don't know their names. There's the big green guy, and in Mega Man 8, there was this red ball that would follow you around and spit bombs. And then Rush would come out too. In this game, when we talk about characters, like when we talk about, what's the girl's name? We don't have
Roll.
When we talk about Roll, she runs the shop in my mind. Like, for the last 2 or 3 games, she's been in the shop.
Yeah, they put the girl in the market.
Yeah, and then in this one, you could even, I think, you could buy a mask of hers in the shop. But it wasn't her. It had to be a mask. I don't know why you couldn't play as her. But anyway, characters, I've always appreciated the Mega Man characters and the fact that they have to come up with 8 new bosses and they've had to do it 9 times. Some of them are a little silly, like Plug Man. I think there's a Clown Man in one. Anyway, I don't know. The characters have always pleased me. I would say for characters, does the job, 7.
I gave it a 2.
Oh, you don't have. Okay.
Only because they didn't use any of the characters. Once again, I don't know who this person is, who that person is. Roll, that other robot that's at the thing. Light was like knocked out the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Wily, I mean, they never used Wily until the last 5 seconds. I did like the bosses. Maybe I could be a little bit more lenient there again, but I was lenient on the something else for the bosses, so that's why I wasn't lenient for them before. Gameplay. The art is why I was leaning on the bosses last time. Which is why I wasn't leaning on them before. Gameplay.
I know, 5, confused. Because at one aspect, I was really disappointed they took away the slide. You couldn't charge your Mega Buster. But on the other aspect, I do like just being able to play more simply, not have as many controls. I was disappointed with the way it synced up with the PS4, which is the console we're playing on. You couldn't switch rapidly between your costumes, not costumes of your specific powers. And then also in the, blanking here, but the specific powers you could, I forgot. Anyway, gameplay, I gave it a confused.
I agree with you on that.
That doesn't mean I didn't like it though, it's just 5, confused.
I agree with you because you already knew what you were getting into once you picked it up. It's like, because since you have played, hopefully, the previous ones, you knew what the jump did, and there's also a certain gravity that Mega Man has.
Yeah.
That you kind of already know once you see that you're playing this 8-bit, but 32-bit version. I also don't like that they took away sliding, but apparently you can do that with Proto Man, so they took it away on purpose. It's not like they just couldn't make it happen. And the one thing I did think they took away on accident was the shifting between things. I don't see why you wouldn't want to give that to your player. So I actually would have almost bumped it up to 6, but once you brought that up, I was like, I'm going to keep it at my 5.
Yeah, on the digital download of the game, I was going to reference something he was talking about. You could do an update where it allowed you to play as Proto Man. So we just have the basic game, so we don't really have...
I thought if you beat it, you'd also be able to
Well, we did beat it, but I didn't see Proto Man pop up. But I know on the digital download you could do an update where you could play as Proto Man where he could slide. So maybe people complained. Maybe Proto Man's just more smooth than Mega Man.
But there weren't any additional areas that a slide would get you to either.
No, it was built for not to have to do it.
Yeah.
Although it would be helpful to not get stomped on by Wily in that mod, but we didn't have to do. We beat it right away.
Yeah, that's true. That sliding thing. Yeah.
I mean, I want to say in terms of gameplay, this by far I feel like has been the easiest Mega Man we have done, possibly. Or quickest.
I don't have a difficulty on here. I'll put difficulty. Next difficulty. Yeah, for certainly, I would say the easiest one too. Even the twin devil was the easiest
out of the Devil's family.
Out of the devil.
Yellow devil, green devil, twin devil. Was there another one? I feel like there was another one.
No, I think it was just the three.
Okay.
So the scoring for that.
Difficulty. I mean, when we say difficulty, do we want it to be like good? I mean, I guess it's an interpretation there.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 4 too, actually.
Because I did not mind that it was as easy as it was. It could have been just a tad bit harder, but in comparison to some of these Mega Mans where you're just like, you first get in there and you're like, how the hell am I gonna do this? I didn't feel that ever. And I think that was the biggest kind of maybe letdown.
I feel like this game had, and this goes back to gameplay a little bit, but it had there was nothing that you couldn't really figure out how to beat. Like,
the patterns are more obvious.
There are more obvious patterns.
Yeah.
And we talked about the puzzle aspect too. This game had a lot of like, sort of more puzzly, like, how do I beat this guy by hitting his eggs into his face kind of thing.
Right. Not necessarily using any type of the weapons.
Yeah.
Any of the weapons would have done that job. Control functions.
Ooh, okay.
I would give that probably a 10. Everything worked the way it needed to work. Is that true?
I would say, yeah. I would say a 10 too, actually, on that, because
other than...
if you had played a Mega Man before, any of the Mega Mans before, there was nothing in this game that you would need to learn. So it was all throwback, all classic,
that's right.
control functions, not difficult. And for me, when you were able to toggle between the different suits and powers, I would accidentally hit that button all the time while I was playing. Just watch the videos, you see me switching accidentally into the wrong costume. That was the thing I would do. So this, I just randomly would pause it, on this game. Yeah, 10 for me, control functions.
I just realized... we might have to put spoilers on the title of this, but I don't know if we've said any spoilers. It's a Mega Man game, so like I said, the storyline, it was nothing, so we won't worry about that. Spoiler free. Well, I mean, it's completely spoiled, but you should already know.
You should already know.
Music.
That's
a big one for Mega Man.
It is.
Big,
I'm writing it in all caps on my video, or on my notes. I'm gonna say 7 does the job, And the reason, there were a couple moments while we were filming these series of episodes where the music's like, was like, oh, I like how this sounds.
There were, yeah.
Couple.
Yeah.
But
Galaxy
there's also
Man.
a lot of it just like disappeared in the back. I don't remember it. I don't know if I'll ever, you know, I wanted more of it to be memorable, I guess. But it did the job for what the game is, and I had moments where it's like, oh, nice. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
It sounds very generic, but...
This might be a slight spoiler, so I'll say skip 10 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear it. But you should start the game off with skip, Galaxy Guy. And I'm not sure...
I don't think that's a spoiler.
I don't know.
That's giving advice on gameplay.
But...
You don't have to take it.
It's true. But game-wise, that might have been a mistake because his level has, I think, the coolest leveling, and it might have the best music because I do remember liking that music. So everyone after that might have been more of a disappointment, but I'm gonna give it a 7. What did you say? You also
For
said
music, I
7.
said 7, yeah. It said it's a job. I thought there were a few moments in the thing where I was like, this sounds really cool. Or it sounded good with what we were talking about. Just as a background, not that that should matter, but we are making a show here, and we want our audience to be entertained. I don't like these things at all.
What do you think? Category mood.
Ooh, mood. What's the one below? Eight. Exceeds expectations. That's what I'm gonna say. Just died. I just think that the mood of the game is what is to be expected. All Mega Man games, I feel like, have a similar mood. It's kind of like a lighthearted joviality. Like a lighthearted, like, story, but then this horrible thing happens. I think the mood of other Mega Man games has been a lot darker than this one. In terms of, like, in a couple of the ends of the Mega Man games, Mega Man's, like, right away about to blow Wily away forever, and then something interrupts it. And
Well,
I think that's pretty crazy.
They do, yeah. They do go for, I see, a more lighthearted anime-ish style.
Yeah.
And
Like, the origins of Mega Man has been around
Exactly.
from, like, the 50s and different
from that one
manga.
Astro Boy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Astro Boy, that is right. You remember that, that's good.
Yeah, I know Astro Boy. I also gave, well, no, I gave it a 7, just under that 8, because it's really basic, generic. I mean, it kind of feeds off the storyline. The storyline's so generic, I don't ever really feel like, and along maybe with the difficulty, just the mood for me that was set was like, I have a job to get done, and I was just gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There could have been.
I said 8
I'm gonna give it a
on
5. Actually, I just lowered it 2. I convinced myself down 2 points.
That's fair.
And okay, so the lesson. Was there a lesson to Mega Man here?
I don't think so. I would say if there's a lesson, it'd be, if I have to, 1.
I'm actually gonna go with 1 also, and it's only because I feel like they had an opportunity to have a lesson here with the female first woman robot,
Oh, you're right.
and they chose kind of
To not do that
to
at
do that,
all.
and they actually went the wrong direction and
made it
made her
super
weak.
easy.
She's
Yeah.
the weakest robot of all the robots on Mega Man, getting hurt double rather than
Yes.
ratio-wise getting her double than any other robot. It's just
Maybe they thought they were giving, like, the fanboys, like, a good laugh.
maybe
In some sort
I
of,
don't
like,
know.
misogynistic way.
So
I am so dead here. I have 1 life left.
And the last category here is overall feeling of the game.
Ooh, so this is like the final vote?
It would be like, I guess, whatever kind of final number you want to give into the game. And I'm gonna give it a 8 because I was not excited for the 32-bitness, and I think after playing it all, it was a good game. I enjoyed it. I liked the bad guys, and even though the storyline was a little weak, there was some background to it. Like, I could see Concrete Man helping out people in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Mermaid Woman, what's her name? Splash Woman, singing at a karaoke bar.
Yeah, she was in the karaoke, that's what it said.
So I enjoyed that part. It even makes me laugh now. So, I'll definitely say it exceeds expectation.
I said the same thing on that one too, because I was into the nostalgic aspect of it. I liked the simplicity of it. The gameplay was easy. I wasn't hitting those buttons and changing my power randomly. It was a throwback to the first one, which we haven't seen since, for us for several months, because we played 2 a long time ago. I think after 2 it starts getting a little bit different, graphics-wise. So it's just an overall good feeling, like wanting to play, and I really, really liked it. So I'm saying exceeds expectations on that for the whole game. Yep.
So I think what we do now is we would add up our score.
Okay.
And divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now my question is though, do you want to add in any other categories? Because remember, I use this for all my other games. Is there more that you would like to add? How do you like this? If you're watching, feel free to leave suggestions in the topics too of things that we've missed on the review, or you're like, dang, you two talk too much, shut the hell up. I know actually the first part of the thing we weren't giving numbers, so we had to go back and re-give that. So maybe just ignore the first 5 minutes. But
no, because you went through all of your ideas and on the first ones, and I was like catching up.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. Sorry, I'm adding up my score as we speak, because I'm lazy. And I'm not doing it in my head, I'm doing it with a machine.
No, I'm gonna ask you to at least do the division for my part.
I will.
But,
I suspect your score is gonna be much lower than mine.
It will be, but then we'll add our 2 numbers up and get the average of those 2.
That's interesting, yeah.
And I'm actually debating whether...
And I divide it by 12?
Yeah, there's 12 categories.
Alright. I have my number. Better write it down so I don't forget it. Should I use any decimals if there are any?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Can you divide this number
Yes, I sure
by
can.
12?
Drum roll, please.
Your number can't be that big. You just added it all up?
And I divided it by 12.
Interesting. Well, yeah. Let's see what I get.
Because I have... Wait, that's not right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't divide it by 12. Did I? I'm going to redo mine in a second, but let's get yours right quick. So that... divided by 12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your score is a 4 point.
Oh, don't say it.
Sorry. Never mind.
Go for it.
Alright, I better redo mine here real quick. Drum roll.
Like this. There's nothing here.
Oh, I see why it did that. Okay, and then...
In the background, I'm yelling at me. There could be some fun lamps or lanterns hanging from those cords. Over yonder, there should be some I mean, these should be glowing, and then around it, you should be able to see the background of the rocky wall.
Okay. I have my number.
Okay, and then we'll put these two numbers together and divide by 2.
Alright.
I feel like...
I think yours is that it, or is that it?
Well, this was the number, but I rounded up.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I've never done it this way in my other reviews.
I don't think this
so
is gonna get anything that we want.
I'm not sure either,
To
because it
resemble,
seems like a really low score. But we'll figure...
It is gonna be kind of low, but... Alright. That number is... I'm assuming this is the last one. I think this is funny. I don't think this is... for me, it's not necessarily how I feel about the game, but...
So, we got a 5.54, which is a
Could round up to time saver.
confused
If you-
time saver.
If you round up that by the half number to time saver.
You know, it's not that far off.
I don't
would
think
have
it's that
actually
off.
done does the job,
I would have done the job too, probably.
but to round up to time saver, I'm fine with that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Round
Okay.
down, you mean? Or yeah, for the
Yeah.
number 5.54, time saver. That's pretty accurate. But that's what video games are, no matter what. Like even if you love the game, if it's your favorite game ever,
Yeah.
it's always a time saver. So it can't go wrong.
Which isn't, I guess, the best. Let's go for Mega Man. I'm sure Mega Man 9 people aren't too excited about that, or Capcom in general wouldn't want the game to be a 6, but that's what we think.
Yeah.
Don't come for us, it's just our opinions.
Yeah. If you do come for us, just write lots of comments. But like, be constructive about it.
Yeah, and thumbs up. Lots of thumbs up too.
Yeah. Like, subscribe.
We respond well to
Yeah.
those things. Did you want to do anything else? That is the review.
That is the review. I feel a little bad. We've been really focused on talking about the game and the history of it and where it came from, that we haven't really beaten a level or done anything. So I don't know if we can try to like play it out, just getting through this.
Oh
This
no,
guy?
I was just like, I haven't even been trying. I'm just literally pooping around.
Yeah, but we don't have to. We can go.
Yeah.
Whenever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, this was just background play.
All right. Well, it's
Thank-
been another episode of the Mega Man series. So you can expect to see us back for Mega Man 10.
Oh yeah, we're actually gonna maybe do a little not run through, but what is it called?
Sneak
A
peek.
First viewing or something
Yeah.
like that. Just in 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
join us for Mega Man 10,
Yes.
which will be still doing Mega Man Mondays. And Wily Wednesdays when we get to Wily, because he's still out there.
He's still out there.
Alright,
Always
this
out there being wily.
Is
That
Tyro
way.
VA
And Codeman.
signing off from the vault and our stars. Thank you for joining us and watching all of Mega Man 9 playlist.